Guys, welcome back. And for those who are new, welcome to the Mosley podcast. So, a few announcements before we get into today's episodes. I'm doing things a little bit different. So, a lot of you guys know, and a lot of you guys don't know that I was audio only. Now I'm transitioning to video on YouTube. And before I get into today's episode, like I said, I want to talk about a few things. And one of those things is I want to do a giveaway to kind of kick this off. Like, new format, new style. Let's kick this off. So, I have these headphones here. These are Raycon everyday headphones. I love these things. So I got these last year, and I wish I would have got them sooner. So I've been working out for a very long time. So I use earbuds or I use headphones pretty much every day. I've gone through a lot of brands, and these by far I feel like are the best. They have good sound quality. They're very, very comfortable. The noise cancellation is awesome. Battery life is superb, and I just really love them. Like I said, I use them every day, working out, studying, listening to music, when I'm out walking, when I just feel like just tuning out the world. Like, I love these headphones. Probably will never, ever use another brand. And I thought to myself, these are really, really awesome. And if you guys are trying to get into, your fitness journey, or maybe you just need headphones, I was like, you know what, let me just do this as a giveaway. So again, I'm giving these away, but we have one condition. We have to hit 100 subscribers. So make sure that you subscribe below, and you'll be entered in a chance to randomly win a pair of headphones. Now, you don't have to get them in this color here, black. They do come in black, they come in gold, and they come in white, I think, or something like that. I'll have to check. But if you win, when you win, let me know what color you want, and I'll get it for you in that color. So let's talk about the podcast and moving forward a little bit before I get into the topic today. So before I focused mainly on just one topic, one or two topics, and I talked about that. For those who don't know, I do fitness, lifestyle, wellness, relationships, gaming sometimes. Very, 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 very seldom. But I do talk about gaming sometimes. I want to do things a little bit different. I want to start sharing success stories with you guys to help motivate and inspire you on your own journey. And I'll be reading those off of Reddit or anywhere else that I find them. And if you have your own success story, please let me know. Please submit it to me, leave it in the comments below, and I will pick it out and I will read it. On top of that, I want to start answering your guys' questions as well, too. If I don't get any questions from you guys, I will go online and find some, because I know daggone well that if there are questions online that are being asked, like, y'all might have those questions as well, too. I'm answering somebody's question. I know that. No matter even if it's just one person, I'm answering somebody's question. So leave your questions down below. You can also go to my website as well, too, mosleycoaching.com, and you can submit a topic that you want me to talk about, or you can submit questions that you want me to talk about. But today I do have a success story that I want to kick off with. I read it the other day. I thought it was really good, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this with you guys, and that'll be a great way to kind of kick off this new transition from audio to video and the style of how I'm doing the podcast moving forward. So let's go ahead and read this. This is on the Lose It subreddit. I found this not too big of a thread, but it was good, because I feel like a lot of people have gone through this, are going through this, and have dealt with this, and it's just nice to hear people come out on the other side, right? So let's go ahead and jump into it. So the username, her name is Mrs. I'm assuming it's 3 capital I's. I'm not sure. Mrs. 3. We'll just call it that. So she says, "Hi. I was thought as fat by my family as a kid. Put on my first diet at 9, a fad diet, of course. Of course, a fad diet. Received food scales, calorie books, diet books, and my Christmas stockings." That's a bit extreme. Wait, at 9? Yeah, that's a bit extreme. "Had diets mailed to me by my grandmother. Was on every crazy fad diet that passed through my parents' workplaces." Okay. "We had weekly family weigh-ins. It wasn't ideal." I'll get into it. "My parents were doing what they thought was right." Okay, I don't blame them. They probably wanted to make sure that she had like a really good, starting point with, her health and whatnot. But I feel like there's a certain way to go about it, and kind of introducing your kid into that at that age, and then there's a better way to go about it, I think. And I don't necessarily agree with this so far, but let's keep going. "They had quote unquote normal weights. I've said several times that I've lost and gained, and literally thousands of pounds. I'm not exaggerating. I learned how to lose weight," and that was in quotation. "I quote unquote learned how to lose weight. I never learned how to maintain my weight loss." And I feel like Let me just stop right there before we continue. I feel like that is probably one of the biggest things that people struggle with. A lot of you guys already know how to lose weight. I feel like a lot of people know how to lose weight. Like I knew how to lose weight. I knew how to lose weight. I didn't know how to maintain it. Well, I didn't. I had an idea of how to lose weight. I mean, let me rephrase that. A lot of people have an idea of how to lose weight, but a lot of people don't know how to lose weight, and a large majority of people don't know how to maintain their weight loss afterwards. Let's keep reading. She puts in all caps. Steps on soapbox. This is going to be good. Diets, in parentheses, no matter what type, have beginnings and ends. Let me stop there. She is true. Fad diets have a beginning and an end. But what you eat on a day-to-day basis, what you drink on a day-to-day basis, that is your diet. So everyone is on a diet. Everyone has their own diet, but everyone's diet is different. It's based off of the foods that you like to eat. So you have your own preferences. So everyone, I'm just saying that you are always not on a diet, but you have a diet. Like you have a diet. So just kind of putting that out there. The weight loss, diet, fitness industry is a multi-billion-dollar business. Everyone is looking for, quote-unquote, the answer, the, quote-unquote, easy answer, the, quote-unquote, key, the, quote-unquote, holy grail. People will sell it, promise others that they have, quote-unquote, the secret. She's really passionate about these with these, quote-unquote, quote-unquotes. My goodness. Consumers will buy it monetarily, emotionally, or both, time and time again, to their own detriment. There are no safeguards. Kids are taught fat is bad. Let's stop there. Fat is not, having excess fat on your body is not healthy. I don't think teaching kids that fat is bad, unless you're like kind of breaking that down, is wise, because a lot of people avoid fats in their foods because they think that's how you put on, that's how you put on weight. I don't do butter. I don't do fats because that's how I get that. No, that is not how that works. If you're in a caloric surplus, you're going to put on weight. So just kind of putting that out there. So fat in the sense that she's talking about is not bad if there's not an excess. Like we're all going to have some type of body fat on our bodies. We need to have body fat in our bodies in order to survive. Again, however, excess body fat, different story. Let's keep talking. People will destroy themselves and no one will stop them. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are many roads to healthy, sustainable weight loss. Yes, I 100% completely agree with her on that. There is no one cookie cutter way for you to lose weight in a healthy manner and keep it off. Everyone has to find what works best for them. Yes. Whatever that may be. Steps off soapbox. So she kind of talks about what she did and what works for her. And what I'm about to read, I'm 100% on board with. So let's go ahead and get into it. But she's making some good points. I want to kind of rephrase this again. There are many roads to healthy, sustainable fat loss. There really is. Let's keep going. For me personally, that was unlearning what I had learned. It was a process, and I decided to chuck weight loss culture out the window. I'm okay with that. I began with 3 small, obtainable changes. One was diet, one was sleep, one was exercise. I built on my success and developed better habits. This all sounds phenomenal to me, and this all is true. If you're trying to change something about yourself, start small and start with the area that you want to improve on the most. I can't stress that enough. You have to start small. Have a long-term goal, but you have to have small goals in between to kind of help get you there. Developing habits takes conscious effort, time, and striving to be consistent. I continue to make my own changes at my own pace. I can't stress it enough. A lot of people try to mirror what they see online or mirror what they see on videos or whatever. And everyone is different. Everyone moves at their own pace. Not everyone operates the same. So what you see online that is working for somebody, that is awesome, that is working for them, but it may not work for you. And a lot of the times is trying to figure out what does work for you. And a lot of that requires trial, error, and consistency, and being willing to make mistakes and then learning from those mistakes. I will talk about that, in my story a little bit more as I talk about what my success story. But a lot of this is true, and a lot of this is what I experienced without realizing this is what I was going through when I went through my own journey. She says, I lost a lot of weight, a lot of it. I gained so much more self worth, confidence, acceptance, understanding, empathy, compassion, understanding, knowledge, which is super, super important during this as well, too. Physical health, mental health, emotional health, assurance, and so much more. I love that because it's life changing when you get this self worth, when you get all these attributes and these traits from from exercising and working out and eating better, and you start feeling better and you're feeling more confident and you're more compassionate and you want to keep learning more. Like it's a game changer. It's a life changer. And it's crazy because like this stuff are things that went through my head as I was working on changing and bettering my lifestyle. So it's like to see her say the same things, it's just like it just further like cements what I'm trying to do, because I want others to be able to experience what she's experiencing when she's talking about, in her story right now, and what I'll be talking about in my story. Like this is beautiful. This is just beautiful. Let's keep going. I lost a little over 100 pounds in a year. Oh my God. That is amazing. That is amazing. And that was over 10 years ago. She kept it off for over 10 years, over a decade. I maintained 120-pound weight loss for 10 years. I did as many people. I have a small gain during lockdown, of course. Like you're gonna put on weight when COVID was happening. Like no one was really going anywhere. Like things were locked down, and that truthfully was depressing. I don't fault anyone who put on weight during COVID. I think it was normal to put on 5-10 pounds. Now, if you're putting on more than that, we might need to talk. But 5-10 pounds, I think is totally normal. She said that's gone. I recently found out that I've lost additional weight, so she's lost even more weight. It was a happy surprise. And she says she doesn't own a scale, her doctor does. And that was pretty much her story. And that was amazing. When I was going through my journey, I did a lot of research. Let me just dive into it. Let me have a sip of my drink real quick, and then we can just dive into my story, because I'm not trying to keep you guys here all day. So let's see here. All right. So 2014, I just gotten out of a bad relationship, and I know you guys know how that is. You're not feeling the best, but you want to start feeling good, and you want to start looking good, for the next potential partner that comes around. I was dealing with some other stuff outside of that. I had low self-esteem, low confidence, but I just didn't feel good. I was very lethargic. I went to the doctor, did my, oh my God, why can't I talk? I did my checkup, found out that I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and I'm assuming that's why I was getting headaches a lot, because I dealt with headaches pretty much every day. Things just kind of sucked for me. Things sucked for a while. I'm assuming I was pretty much approaching rock bottom. I'm not entirely too sure, but I mean, how I was feeling at the time, like I felt like a former shell of who Skylar used to be. But thinking back on it, did I really even know who I used to be? Anyways, that's a topic for another day. I just wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't feeling good. I knew that I needed to change. I had like this innate desire to change myself. I just tired of feeling the way I felt. And I did what a lot of people did before. I've tried losing weight before. I tried eating better before. It never stuck. I tried diets before. I tried, fasting and all that stuff, and nothing ever stuck. It lasted for like a week or two, and then I was done. Only to try it again at some point and be done and get discouraged and give up. Like just the things that so many people deal with to this day when they're trying to better their health. The thing that worked for me, I feel like, was I just kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what, like I can't do this by myself. Like I've tried it for years. Like I'm just wasting my time at this point. I know I want to feel better. I need to ask someone who knows what they're doing, who's seen success in the gym. Like that was my mindset. So luckily, my cousin was working out at the time, and I reached out to him, and I'm like, dude, I feel like crap. I look like crap. I need to change something. I don't know what I'm doing. I need your help. Like, please just help me, dude. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, I got you. And like my cousin and I, we've grown up together, so we're pretty much like, we call each other brothers at this point. But he's super cool. So he's like, when are you ready to start? And I'm like, when do you think I should start? Like, tell me when I should start. And he's like, all right, well, we're starting tomorrow. So in my head, I'm like, oh, all right, cool, awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little resistant, kind of thinking like, why can't we just start on Monday? Like, why can't we just start on a fresh new week? Well, I gotta start in the middle of the week. But I really wanted to. I just wanted to get started. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll meet you at the gym tomorrow. So let me give you some backstory on this dude a little bit, on his appearance. He is 6'2", 6'3", and at the time he was like 270, 280, maybe close to 290 pounds. So he's a big boy. He's a big boy. Me, on the other hand, I'm about 5'10", 5'11", and at that time I was 170 pounds, skinny fat dude. So the contrast was huge, right? He has a different mentality than I do. I think he has a different mentality than I've ever had when it comes to working out. My boy is go in, lift heavy, no excuses. So that's kind of what I developed. So I meet him at the gym and I ask him, like, what are we doing today? He's like, we're doing chest and triceps. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, cause I want a bigger chest. I want to grow my arms out. And these are things I want to focus on. These things that most guys want to focus on. They want to have a nice chest and some big arms, nice proportional legs, and a six pack, right? That's what we want. So I was like, yeah, awesome, cool. Let's get into it. So he takes me to do the first exercise, and it's barbell bench press. And I'm just like, oh, cool. Like, I'm a little nervous, but all right, cool. So he gets under the bar and he's explaining to me how to do it. And I'm like, all right, I think I can do this. I got this. He's just lifting the bar off the thing and bringing it down and pressing it back up. What's so hard about that? Sometimes, I always tell people that you're stronger than what you know, right? But sometimes you get humbled. And I got humbled, I got humbled bad. Never in my life did I think that picking up a 45-pound bar would be me on a struggle bus. But that was me. I was on the struggle bus for a while trying to get that bar up. And I got it up and I was able to rep it out and your boy was hurting. And I thought, okay, now we take a break. But I was wrong. I was entirely wrong. He said, Skylar, now we do push-ups. And I'm like, what? You just saw me struggle with this, right? Like, what are you, bro, you just saw me struggle with this. What are you doing? But, I told the man that I would listen to whatever he told me to do. And I'm a man of my word. So I got down and I tried to do a push-up and fell right on my face. Like, just could not support myself. I just didn't have the strength. I didn't. But I tried, right? I tried. So I modified, did them on my knees or whatever. And we did our next set. And we were probably in the gym working out for at least an hour or two. Now, I've been training people for about 5 years now. I know that when you first start training someone in the gym, the last thing that you do is you have them go crazy hard. You kind of ease them into it so you don't scare them away, so they don't overtrain, so they're not stupid sore the next day, so they're able to operate and function like a normal human being, right? You would think to do that. This man left me barely being able to drive my car home. So, we did chest and triceps, and we were there for an hour or two. And this is my first workout experience with this freaking beast of a man. And we leave, and I'm trying to turn the steering wheel. Oh my goodness, y'all! I till this day I have never worked out to the point where I could not turn the steering wheel. So anyways, he tells me I did a good job. I eventually got home and, ate food, and I'll get into that too. I ate food and rested up and met him at the gym the next day. And I'm not going to tell you guys every single day. So the next day I met him, he was like, good job yesterday. I'm glad you're here. So I need you to do two things for me moving forward. And I was like, all right, what's up? He's like, one, keep lifting heavy with me. And I was like, well, that was the plan. Like, that was my plan, was to keep lifting with you. Like, our definition of heavy is different right now. Cause like what's heavy to me is light too, but yeah, you guys know where I'm getting at. And he's like, eat a lot of food. I'm like, all right, well, I love eating food. It's kind of why I'm in this predicament as well too, is because I feel like I'm not eating the right food. And I'm just like, just skinny fat. So that's what I did. And over time, I just kept getting stronger. I kept working out with him. I kept pushing myself. He kept pushing me. I kept eating a lot. lifting a lot, eating a lot, lifting a lot. And eventually I went from 170 pounds to 215 pounds. I think at my heaviest, it was 250 pounds. I felt good. I felt better. I wasn't exactly out of the clear yet. I still was dealing with high blood pressure. I wasn't having headaches every day. I wasn't feeling lethargic all the time. And I was feeling better about myself. And I feel like that was like the main thing I cared about outside of, the aesthetics was I just wanted to feel good. And I started to feel good. And it kept me going back to the gym with his crazy butt. So fast forward to a house party and I'm hanging out with friends or whatever. My buddy comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, let me see your six pack." And me, I'm like, I'm looking for any opportunity to show off all the hard work I've been putting in. So I'm like, "Yeah, bro." And then I remembered that I don't have one. I'm 215 pounds. And all I've been doing is eating a crap ton of food and lifting a crap ton of weight. So I put on a lot of muscle, but I also put on a lot of fat. So there was really nothing to show there. Like you could tell I worked out, but you couldn't tell that I worked out. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So that kicked off another chapter of mine is when I started to really educate myself in nutrition. I remember what I Googled that day too. Hopped on Google. How do you lose weight and keep your muscle at the same time? And then bodybuilding popped up, and I was like, what is this? What is this magical thing? So I went and checked it out. And for those who don't know, bodybuilding.com is a forum, and it's like a shop as well too. You can buy like protein powder. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know. I don't know if anything's changed, but before you could buy protein powder and shakes there, and it was a forum. So I was on the forum. I was doing a lot of research. I was looking at other people's success stories, and I was looking at what they needed to do, what they were doing to lose weight. And one thing that stood out to me was caloric deficit. And I did research on that and figured out what that was. And for those who don't know what that is, being a caloric deficit is eating less calories than what your body produces throughout the day. So let's say, for example, on average that your body burns 1,700 calories a day and you're trying to lose weight, you would eat like 1,500 calories. And that would put you in a caloric deficit because you're under that number. I didn't know that, but I had an idea of what I needed to do. So I researched more on that. Figured out that I needed to eat less than what my body was burning throughout the day, but I didn't know how to figure out that number. Did more research. TDEE calculator, for those who don't know, that is total daily energy expenditure as a way for you to kind of monitor and see and calculate the overall usage of calories that your body is using throughout the day. And that is with activity involved. So I got that number and I was like, all right, I have a starting point. And at that point, that's pretty much all I needed. So I thought I needed one more piece of the puzzle, which was tracking the food that I was eating. So I did a lot of research on the foods that were really nutritious and would get me to where I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to track all of that. Tell you what, guys, Google is a beast. So I Googled how do you track your food, and MyFitnessPal popped up, and I was like, I've heard of this app before, but I never thought to use it because I just wasn't in the space to do it. So once I had all three things, that was it. I just I tracked everything for a while. And probably after 3 or 4 months of tracking pretty religiously, I really didn't need to use MyFitnessPal anymore because I was eating the same thing throughout the week. And I was getting really good at being able to eyeball portion sizes. So that was just a game changer in itself. I know for me, and I know for a lot of you guys, like tracking is very monotonous. It's very boring. And it's just like, I'm trying to change all this stuff about me. I don't want to add another task of what I have to manage or whatever. I get how you guys are feeling, but I implore you, if you're not, you don't need to use MyFitnessPal. You can use a food journal if you'd like, but track. Just track. Just to start, just track. You don't have to do it all the time. It's not something you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, but to get started so that you have a better idea, so that you have that base, that foundation that you need, just track. I promise you, it'll make what you're trying to do so much easier. So, as you guys know, I was trying to lose fat and keep my muscle as I was doing this. So I kept my protein intake pretty high, and I kept in that caloric deficit for up to a little over a year. So I went from 215 pounds all the way down to 155 pounds. I lost 60 pounds in a year, and I've kept it off ever since. Now, my goal wasn't to get down to 155. At first, my goal was to get this six-pack. I wanted the six-pack. That was my ultimate long-term goal. But I want to say probably about 20 pounds into losing the weight, and I was focusing on 10-pound increments. So I from 215 I got to 205, and then I actually got to 200, and then that's when I really broke it down into 190, 180, 170, and 160. But it took me a year to lose the weight, and I just want to kind of touch on that a little bit because a lot of people want quick results. Now you can get your weight loss really quickly, especially if you're following some of these fad diets or you end up like really just trying to starve yourself for some reason. Don't do that because that is not a healthy way to lose weight. I was probably losing about a pound a week, and I was okay with that because I was seeing results. I was feeling better. That was the main thing. I was just feeling better, and that was the main factor. That was the main drive that superseded my six pack that I wanted to get. So I kept wanting to go back to that feeling of feeling good on top of like the gym, on top of the better eating that I was doing, on top of the weight loss. Y'all, I truly felt invincible. Like, and I never felt that way before. I felt like I could take on the world. And it was such an empowering feeling and feeling that I wanted to keep going back to. So I did. But it took me a year to lose the weight, and then I kept it off ever since. And shortly after that, I don't know, it kind of just sat in my head that feeling of empowerment. And what I talked about, what Mrs. Three said and the success story that I read, the confidence and the knowledge and all that she gained, as she kind of made weight loss her own and figured out what worked for her. Like I experienced all that, and I was just like, I got to get other people to experience this because in my head, I was like, yo, if I can do this, and I don't really consider myself anyone special. Like I'm just an average guy. I was like, if I can do this after dealing with all that stuff that I went through, I was like, there's no reason why anyone else can't do this. So that's what led me down the path of becoming a personal trainer, and I want to be the best that I can be at what I do. So I continue to educate myself. But that is what led me down to becoming a personal trainer. That is what led me to creating Mosley Coaching, which is my training and coaching business. And then that's what led me to creating Let's Mosley. So I created Let's Mosley last year, actually. So this is last year in June, I created it. And this is technically episode 67, but I'm kind of doing like not like a start over or anything like that, but this is just a new avenue. But I started Let's Mosley because I wanted to be able to provide information to you guys so that you have the tools and knowledge that you need to be successful with your story. I also want to be able to share parts of my story with you as well too, to show you where I struggled at, to show you where I had victories at, to show you where I failed at. I was not a perfect thing. I had a lot of trial and error, and a lot of this is trial and error. A lot of this is trying to figure out, I like these foods, I don't like these foods. These foods work for me, these foods don't work for me. This type of sleep works for me, this type of sleep doesn't work for me. I like this exercise, I don't like this exercise, because one shoe does not fit all. And everyone's going to have different preferences on how they want to be trained and how they want to lose weight and the foods they want to eat and dietary needs and all that stuff. So I understand that. And I understand how tough it is just getting started in general. So I wanted to provide some type of guidance for people who were trying to get started. And I also wanted to provide some type of guidance for people who are already started on their journey but still struggling because they are still trying to figure it out and are having a really hard time doing so. Because I know for me, that was the one thing I needed the most prior to working with my cousin. If I would have known and had the tools and resources to just have some type of guidance and help, had I known to just look up podcasts or look up, videos or anything like that to really digest that knowledge and be able to use it, I would have done that a long time ago and saved myself so much time and pain and disappointment and discouragement and feeling like a failure, because I felt like a failure every time I messed up. I always felt like I was a failure. Like, why can't I do this? I see all these other people doing it. I see my friends doing it. I see my family doing it, and they're looking good. Like, why can't I do this? But the truth is that I can do this, and you can do it too. So I want to get you guys to that point. And I think by sharing my story and sharing other people's stories, and you guys sharing your stories with me, and answering any question that you guys have, like, I feel like that is key to getting you to where you need to be. So moving forward, I hope you guys continue to tune in and listen to me. I really want to work with you guys. So, and ask questions, share your stories. Don't be afraid. And this will not just be fitness and wellness and health. I will be talking about lifestyle stuff and relationships. So if you have relationship questions, hit your boy up. I'm no doctor, but I'm a pretty intelligent guy. I'm a pretty smart guy, so I can give you a non-biased perspective on the questions that you may have. But I'm going to end the episode here. Before I do end it, I want you guys to follow me. Make sure that and don't forget to subscribe below to be entered to win these headphones. But follow me on my socials. I'm on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, Mosley Coaching. And obviously on YouTube, I am Let's Mosley. But yeah, if you guys have any help, I'm open book. I am very personable. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm looking forward to continuing this path of growing as a person, growing my business, and continuing to make an impact, helping you all by doing what I do. So with that being said, let's Mosley.